Всем привет, меня зовут Анна Белянина, я один из организаторов Next Way. Сегодня мы пригласили нашего прекрасного преподавателя и спикера и действующего аналитика Наташу Леонову, чтобы провести небольшой воркшоп. Так, коллеги, а меня не слышно было?
Да, ты схлопнулась после слова «ворк».
Да. Почему-то у меня, видимо, я отключилась и заново подключилась, и звук был отключен. Хорошо, давайте еще расскажу про то, что... На чем я остановилась, Наташа? Скажи, пожалуйста.
На том, что мы собрались, чтобы провести воркшоп,
Да.
судя по всему, а дальше все схлопнулось.
Да, мы сегодня проведем воркшоп по английскому языку, но не совсем это будет про английский, это скорее будет про работу аналитика на английском языке. Я дальше передаю слово Наташе, она сегодня будет вас мягко и бережно вести по всему воркшопу.
Ань, спасибо большое. Коллеги, еще раз здравствуйте. Я скажу пару слов на русском, потом мы с вами перейдем на английский. И у нас с вами все будет сегодня происходить на английском языке. И давайте постараемся, да, даже между собой у нас будет несколько дискуссионных зон, и будет практическое задание, которое вы тоже будете делать на английском языке. Давайте так, если что-то будет совсем непонятно, вы, пожалуйста, не стесняйтесь, и либо пишите сразу в чат, либо как-то меня останавливайте. В общем, давайте понять, что совсем плохо и совсем непонятно, и, соответственно, мы тогда будем что-то с этим делать. Но, по идее, должно быть не очень сложно, и все должно быть понятно, но вдруг, просто чтобы вы не переживали, а то это будет грустно, если что-то останется непонятым. Давайте тогда начинать. Сейчас я пошарю экран. And let's switch to English. So our topic for today is English in BA/CA work, and let's talk a little bit about the requirements, about the languages, about the complexity, and actually how important it is to speak correctly and how important it is to understand right your colleagues, your stakeholders, and just to not to be shy and just speak up if it's needed. And a few words about myself. So thanks Anna again for the introduction. So I am business analyst with experience about 10 years, and actually I am a fan of communication theory, and I am a linguist. So my first education is philological and linguistical education, and I am a fan of foreign languages. So my first language is German, and English my second language, and now I'm in progress with Portuguese. So just I think it's just my one of my favorite things. And what we will do today. So our plan, and just I think it's the kind of our way for today. And first of all, we will discuss a little bit so BA/CA job and also the requirements and why it's so important and why documentation is important and so. And actually, it will be my next question about your background. So why you are interested in the requirements, business analysis and English. And then we will discuss a little bit domain and domain knowledge and why it's hard topic. And I think that it's also a kind of hard skill for analysts and one of the most important skills for every analyst. And we will discuss also pros and cons of communication. And we will see that business analysts have a lot of things in their regular tasks that are connected to the communication. And in the end, we will have some practice just to see how it actually works in real life. So it was not quite complicated. It will be not quite complicated, but we will see quite a real case. And as I already said, please don't be shy, speak up and try to express yourself in English. So let's do it. Let's have fun. And now we will have a kind of popcorn. So please say a few words about yourself and why are you interested in the business analysis, in the requirements, and why actually are you interested in IT? Or maybe you are already in the profession, you have some experience. So I can start for myself. So as I already said, I'm a business analyst and I'm in love with foreign languages. And actually our workshop, it's a kind of experiment for me because it's my first experience with English in IT sphere. And I think it will be great for all of us. And you just could unmute yourself and or raise your hand and unmute yourself. Just so few words about you. Yes.
Hi, I can start. Yes. So my name is Aygul, and I'm in IT sphere for about 5 years. So currently I am a system analyst. Actually, it's in it's not a Russian company, but we have a lot of Russian employees. So I don't actually need English right now, but we are turning to at least writing APIs in English. So yeah, I'm here for to study how to write APIs correctly in English, how to use articles, and maybe have some examples of good APIs with some wordings or sentences that I could use in my job.
Thank you. It's actually great. So because we are colleagues and it's so quite similar experience. So unfortunately, we will not discuss APIs today, but I think it's quite a common request because there are a lot of IT companies in Russia that in there, so English is not used because we just speak Russian. But for some kind of technical skills as, I don't know, as languages also, so all languages, all technical languages are using English. And for APIs and for some terms we need it. So I hope it will be useful. And
yeah, at least we will talk, and I think practice is always useful.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yes. So somebody else? Yes, Valeria, please.
Hi, my name is Valeria, and I'm working as a business analyst. So basically, I'm expecting to organize my knowledge and maybe revise some vocabulary because I'm using English in my day-to-day, work. But yeah, so I'm expecting a quick revising of what I already know, or maybe learn some new words and some new phrases or collocations.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you will receive the experience and maybe some new words, and also speaking is always good. Yes, Alexei, please.
Hello, my name is Alexei. I'm 3-year experience system analyst. So I work in consult company. We prefer to have some English speaking
Stakeholders?
Yes,
colleagues?
stakeholders. Get missed it. So I haven't enough practice at my work now. So I want some practice. So I here.
Yeah. So hopefully you will have some practice. So we already start to practice now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And we have Evgeny.
Hi, everybody. I'm Eugene. I'm not actually an analyst of any kind, not the business, not the systems analyst. I'm a QA engineer, but I want to switch slowly, so I'm starting with something small, like requirements, hard skills. So thank you for the opportunity. Glad to be here. And you also asked about the reasons to come into IT, and I like when things work, and work properly. And as a QA engineer, you only check it when it's done already. So I want to be, before something is done, I want to make sure that everything's done properly. So that's why the requirements are important. So that's my reasons. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think so. QAs are always one of the main sources for analysts to check the requirements and to communicate. And yes, I always happy to see QAs. So that's I think
we talk a lot for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. And Ekaterina.
Hello, everybody. My name is Katya. I work as a system analyst last year, and this is my first job in IT. And when I start, I made my career map, like a roadmap in career, and English is very important to grow in this in my job. And this year it is my goal to improve my English, so that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You have a good start, and it's always perfect to have a plan.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And yes, we have Jumagul. I hope I said the name correctly.
Hi everyone, my name is Jumagul. You're right. I've been working as a system analyst for the last 1.5 year. I worked as in a tech company, but now I'm in fintech. I'm considering opportunity to find some job in international markets, so that's why I'm very interested in your webinar. Now, how I practice English, I practice it by starting some courses in English on LinkedIn, for example, but I don't do anything else. So maybe I'll find some new ways to practice my English and to find some good examples how to write requirements in English and how to communicate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, you already speaks very good from my perspective, but so the practice is, I think so practice is important for all of us, because so also for native speakers, so for kind of native speakers, because the language is very tricky. So just for, so not a couple of days, but I think so for 2-3 months, you just so washed everything from your mind about the words, especially. And so practice is very useful and very, very important in our life. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, we have Ludmila.
Hello to everyone. My name is Lucy, or Ludmila in Russian. Now I'm working as a business analyst half a year. Recently, I was working as a project manager. I want to improve my skills here, especially English skills, because I don't want to lose opportunity to find someday job in the international markets. So that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So hope you will receive the experience, and
thank you.
We will be useful. Yes, so let's, I think, give a word so to last 3 people. I think we will start with Ekaterina, and then we will move forward. Ekaterina, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. So actually very interesting idea to share the English application of English in the business analysis. So I work in Russian company as a business analyst less than 1 year, and mainly I have Russian projects. So dreaming about foreign projects and to apply English more frequently. And I have some training projects. Most of them were in English. So I let's say have experience in writing technical documentation in English, like use cases, user story, as well some schemes like BPMN, so use case schemas, etc. So what I'm interested now, actually, as we don't have currently foreign projects, I would like to organize speaking club in my company. So we're planning it by March, I think. So, and that would be interesting to learn maybe from you, got some hints. What is the best, let's say, practice to organize such courses? Let's say courses not that might be really interesting for employers. So for different levels, in such situation when the employers can have levels like from A to B. So they're mixed in the groups. So that's interesting to make not boring lessons and motivate colleagues to learn English in a funny way, like partially some funny tasks, and as well apply in real work, for example, with real cases in debating in internal meetings and external meetings with the customers. That would be very interesting. So, and I'm in love with foreign languages. Besides English, I know some others, and really I'm in spite of what is going on in the world, I'm keen on it and I really like to speak in foreign languages. So thank you for this webinar.
Yeah, thanks, Ekaterina. Thanks for for raising an interesting topic. So I think just remind me in the end. So we will discuss partly separately speaking clubs and the idea of the organization of some. It's not I would say it's not exactly the courses, but kind of, I don't know, a kind of groups, or actually clubs. So maybe for discuss some topics, or just actually the standard speaking club. So just I hope I will not forget it, but just remind me in the end, so in case I will miss something.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Maxim, please.
Yes, hello everyone. Do you hear me? Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Okay, yeah. My name is Max. I have 4 years experience in system analysis, and I like this position. That's why I'm interested in the BA-CA, and my goals and expectations. So we have right now only Russian customers, only Russian product owners, and recently, finally, we had one German customer, and I would like to be prepared for future ones. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe you better need German, not English. But...
Yeah, this is next level.
Yes, thank you. And Olga, so our final speaker in this part.
Hello, I'm glad to hear you and glad to take part in this webinar. I work as business analyst, and 2 weeks ago I was involved in a project with international customers. It's my first experience to work with international customers, and my main goal is to overcome my language barrier, because I'm very nervous and I'm not very confident while I'm speaking English. So I hope this webinar will give me a chance, will give me some new knowledge and new tips with my problem, and I will find some interesting things and some tips how to improve my English, how to overcome my language barrier, and my communication with my international customers will go smoothly. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And let's try to summarize the results of our discussion. So actually, I'm very happy that they all, so the main people here are analysts, and also I'm happy that we also have QAs here, and so we all are from IT, I think so, maybe not all, but the main part of our participants. And let's move forward. Let's talk a little bit about the analyst, first of all, but actually, I think you already know what we regularly do. So the first thing, so that is, I think the main things that are always connected to the analyst job is stakeholder needs, and just communicate a lot with different parts of the project. And the next thing that is always in minds of our colleagues, of our stakeholders, of some business people is the requirements or documentation. And actually, we will talk today a lot about synonyms and about the meaning of the words in our lives, because in IT sphere, it's kind of interesting part from my perspective. And I think you all know, so this picture with a process that everything starts with analysis and planning, and then we just move forward to the process. But on all stages and all steps, we always have a lot of communication. And actually, it's interesting because if you just chosen the analyst job, I think you just expected that you will communicate a lot, but sometimes we have some difficulties. And let's start from the very, very beginning, from scratch. And we already know who is the analyst, but actually, if we just try to find some kind of analyst job, we will see a lot of different names. And actually, sometimes it's the same, because, for example, for Russian market, the typical thing is business analyst or system analyst. And actually, we all, I think, know the difference, but sometimes the companies mix up the things that a person should do in this job. And quite a popular role now is product owner. It's also kind of typical role. I would say it's not only the job, but it could be a role. So you could be an analyst and you could be a product owner. It's quite typical situation. And yes, you're right, and you wrote in the chat that also it's IT analyst, business process engineer. So this is the engineer is quite standard. So if we will just take some standards as BA book or IREP. So IREP is a certification for analyst. So we will see the term, requirements engineer. And also, it's one of my favorites things is functional analyst or business functional analyst. And yes, it's correct. So thanks, Anton, for the comment that project managers also write requirements. It's typical for Russian companies too. But sometimes it's in the very beginning of our career, it's just sometimes complicated, because if we just start to look at different positions, we just don't understand what is it. And what are the requirements actually for the position? So it's in the very beginning, it was my first question. So what are the requirements? So what should I do? So in case I'm business analyst or in case I'm functional analyst, what's the difference? But sometimes there's just no difference. And also sometimes, besides project manager, there is a position of solution architect, or so it's kind of mixture of solution architect and requirements engineer, and sometimes architects also write requirements. And if we will go further, so we know who is an analyst. And now the second popular question, so what are the requirements? So, and these terms are quite standard, and we all know that requirements should be the descriptions of the system behaviors and some properties, parameters, attributes. And here also we have some strange and tricky words as requirements and specification, because in different projects these names also could be mixed. And here are also the examples. So we could see some different words for the same thing, and it's not only the requirements, it could be documentation, could be specification, and there are a lot of specific terms, especially in different spheres. For example, it's typical for banking because they have different levels of requirements. So we all have different levels of requirements, but some companies and some structures have special name for every kind of requirement, because we have business requirements, we have project requirements, we have so standard things as user stories, use cases, and also what is the correct word for the requirements? Actually, there is no correct answer because all these terms are correct. So just imagine that you could just meet these words in your so regular or daily job. Yes, BRD is business requirements document, so it's so high level requirements, so special in banking and so on. So you just received from business customer some high level requirements, and then you just need to write the standard specification, just so in the typical analyst way. Yes, thank you, Valeria, for your question. Product vision is also one more term here, but I would say no. So from my perspective, it's not the same, because product vision is quite, I think, more complicated, because it just it includes the whole process of the product. So the product description and some maybe plans, estimates, and so on. And it's, I think, a little bit more detailed usually. And BRD is just so business requirements. So you will have some template and you just have some high level recs inside. Also, there are a lot of so funny abbreviations. It's so recs for requirements. And in case you are using some tools for such kind of applications, tools as Confluence, you will see that there are some funny abbreviations for Yogi requirements plugin, so with recs and so on, recs, baselines, and so on. And let's move forward. And just imagine, so we know that our lives are quite complicated with all these words that had a lot of meanings, and actually we need to speak a lot, we need to communicate a lot. So if we just go back to our process and the flow of just building the typical software, we have a lot of communications, and quite the standard situation for all analysts, I think. So let's imagine so that our domain is complicated, and we already received today some experience from colleagues that participated in projects that are connected to the fintech, for example. I think all domains are complicated, but some of them are, I think, just huge and very, very different. And so our domain is complicated and our stakeholder doesn't speak Russian and or doesn't speak your mother language, and you are new in the project. And my favorite example is that you need to use not 2 languages, but the standard situation for foreign companies is that you have your colleagues, so besides you, or not, or so in current situation, not besides you, but they are mainly Russian speaking. So your technical team is Russian speaking, and stakeholder is somebody who is from other country, for example. And you need to write the requirements in English and to speak to the stakeholder in English, and then to explain everything to your colleagues in Russian. So it's hard to imagine, but it's quite a regular work, and actually your brain is very, very tired in the end of the day. And in some cases, we also had an example today with German. So you could have a German stakeholder, you need to speak with him in German and to write specification in English and to communicate with your team in Russian again. And it's just 3 languages today. And I think the situation is so typical. And what should we do with this one? And I want to add some comments about the domain knowledge, because from my perspective, it's one of the most important topic for every analyst. And actually the domain knowledge is the key. So for some language difficulties and for all the terms and all different words, all complications in our lives, so they came from domain knowledge. And just I tried to summarize the meanings of the domain knowledge. So it's our area. So it's not only for business analysts, it could be the area for the whole project or for the company, for organization. And every domain has its own terms and difficulties, and actually the same domain could have different meanings for one word. For example, if we will take banking as an example, so just the standard expression as money transfer would have different meanings. For example, money transfer for physicals, from card for card is one thing. So, and money transfer in case of different organizations or different companies, or in case of money exchange is the separate thing. Or the same thing for, I don't know, for fintech, so for settlement procedure, for example. And the sad news here are that domain knowledge can be earned as certification, or you just can't read one book and to receive all knowledges about it. You just need experience and you just need practice a lot. And there are a lot of some standard things as knowledge base or the glossaries, or some just knowledge sharing between the colleagues. I think it's also quite standard process. So in case when you are new in the project, you just have a lot of things to do, a lot of things to investigate, and some articles to read, but you just can't do it very quickly. So you need to have some time to get some knowledge and just to spend some time with this knowledges and with some new words and new terms. And here I tried to separate. So I think the main the most popular domains, because it's just from my practice, because I think the fintech and the banking and everything that is connected to the finance, it's quite huge. And also e-commerce with buying, selling something in internet, or telecom, because there are quite a lot, so telecommunication companies. So in Russia, and also there are a lot of IT companies that are connected to telecom. And the last but not least, it's medical industry. So I had colleagues from medical industry, and I think actually it's the most beautiful and the most useful job from IT perspective, because you could help people and build software together, but the complexity is very, very huge. And all of these domains have its charms and a lot of different words, but just what could we do with it? So what could we do with the complexity? And as we already discussed, so the best thing here is not to be shy, as I said in the very beginning. So just to collect the experience and try to go deeper in the domain. So because from my experience, the best thing is always not just to read the books, but to try to connect it with your real life. Because I think so for banking and for some typical things as buying, selling with internet, it's quite easy to imagine because you do it so every day. And you could see the process from our side, not from analyst perspective, but still. And it's quite interesting. So it's not so typical exercise, but it will be very helpful in your job, and especially in the very beginning when you are new in the project or in the company, and it is very, very helpful. And my favorite picture from here. So as I remembered the example with money transfer, and it's actually one of my favorites because I have been working in bank so for 1 year or maybe a little bit more, and every term was very complicated for me. And this picture illustrates the communication failure. It's so a philological term from the same meaning of one word, and when so one person means so one thing and the second person means so just something another, and they just don't understand each other. And I think it's so quite typical situation for our so regular life. So for all business or system analysts, when you have some so complicated term and just so don't know what is it, or just it's very, very very sad when your so colleagues and when your stakeholders just so don't understand what you want from them. And now we will try to do some practice. So actually, I think it will be not quite complicated from you, but the main task here is not to find the correct solution, but to try to so speak up and to imagine that this situation is so in your real life. And we will have now the case, so with the situation, and you need so to read the case and discuss it in the groups. So we will separate you in, so I think in 5 groups, and then to find not maybe the perfect one, but so to find the solution that is correct from your perspective. Yes, and I think we need Nastya for splitting you in groups. And you will have so 15 minutes, maybe we will add 5 minutes more. So we'll see. And also I will be here so for helping you. So let's start splitting the groups. So guys, welcome back. And let's wait 1 minute. So for everybody to return, and then we will start our discussion. So I think we are all here now, and so let's start. I think so from the group number 1. So we need a speaker.
Okay, so I'm the speaker from group number 1.
Mhm.
What we've decided to do. Well, firstly, we would request the domain glossary. If there is no such, try to look up for it somewhere. I don't know. Well, probably there will be in internet some kind of that, like the dictionary of main terminology.
Mhm.
Moreover, I guess we would request for existing specifications and any useful documentation on this project or product. We would try to use we would try to go through use cases of this product by ourselves, like to test the actual functionality. So also we try to ask colleagues for onboarding in project and certain help in certain tasks that would probably help with understanding the whole product. And one of the options also is to research through the code.
Mhm.
That would probably be the hardest one, but for some, or maybe the easiest for others. Anyways, that's what we would do. That's what we've decided to do in first team.
Yes, thank you. I think it's quite so not the typical, not standard, but so very technical solution, and so I like it. It could be the way, as the Mandalorian say. And yes, thank you. But let's switch to the other opinions. So let's proceed to the group number 5. So we need a speaker. So let's go to the end. We need the speaker from the group number 5.
I think I was in group number 5. Well, I can speak for us. Maybe Ludmila can help me because she wrote down our points. I think the first thing we should do is figure out what information we can't find in the task tracker, because it just says they don't feel information. We don't know what information. We also decided that there needs to be some knowledge base or glossary, like the first team suggested, and there should be some knowledge transfer sessions, maybe conversations, because the development team knows the domain really well, and probably you don't. There also needs to be more clear communication from the team to the business analyst and vice versa. So the business analyst can link the requirements to the items that they create. So we have our documentation, as it says here, and we can link parts of our documentation, the requirements, to the actual tasks. And yeah, as Ludmila mentioned, we also suggest to use more clear formats, such as use cases, maybe write acceptance criteria. So we can tell people what needs to be done at the end of the task, and they can also see that they've done what we wanted them to do. I think you can also talk to the team lead of the development team, so the developers can fill out more information because we need it. And I think that's it, but maybe Ludmila can add some more points if I forgot some of our ideas.
I didn't get.
Oh,
did you mention about a link for requirements to the task?
Yeah. That we should link parts for documentation to the requirements. And also there was one more idea. We think it's a good practice to have daily stand-ups where people can give updates on their tasks. And in this time, we can also ask them about the specifics of the task. So, for example, we don't understand some of the terms that they're using. So we can ask that during the daily stand-ups.
Yes, and also the collaboration is one of the key here. So for the solution of this issue with documents. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's how it is.
Yes, let's move forward. Let's move to the group number 2. So speaker from group number 2, please share your ideas.
Yeah, hi everyone again. Well, I must say that I totally misunderstood the assignment and I misled my group away. We were discussing, I didn't get that you are new in this team, so you don't know the domain and like you need to figure out what is going on. I was thinking about more that because we had a problem, we had such problem in my team, and somehow I misled my group to the discussion. Even if your team is already settled and everyone knows the domain, absence of descriptions in task trackers is bad because you can't restore the history of the project. And we were discussing that if it's a problem for a team that you don't have descriptions, maybe you can set an agreement that when assignee takes a task and they view them, and if they don't understand something, like what shall be done, they need to connect with the previous assignee and clarify things. Also, every task should have a link to requirements and designs. Yeah, that's all. That was one issue, that if team has a problem with the absence of descriptions or comments. And we also discussed a second issue, that sometimes developers don't look to the requirements. And in this case, maybe analysts should do some presentations of requirements. When you finish your task, you put everyone in a meeting, and then you tell them whether requirements are set, how the structure works, where to find the information, and etc. So I'm sorry, we haven't done your case. We had done something different. Yeah, but I think we had some improvements for other case.
No, it's okay, because so actually the proposal for the live solution, because so as you mentioned, it's so quite a live case, because so not for every company or every project, but so this situation could happen, and so your perspective is also fine. Just to, and I'm happy that you had a discussion and you have a productive discussion.
Thank you.
And so we have two groups. So the group number 3. So
yeah, I will be
okay.
I will be like a representative for the group number 3. So we focused more on including business analysts in the process of this development. So we decided to set task tracker and knowledge base for, like, we propose that it can be Jira and Confluence, like we suggested it can be Jira and Confluence, and we can start with setting up the statuses process to include business analysts to the development process, like ready for acceptance, for example, status should be added. And also we decided to add more information to the Jira tickets, if it will be in Jira. So if it will be in Jira, we will add like acceptance criteria and links to the Confluence where we will keep our documentation. So this is what we discuss, like from the high level. Maybe somebody wants to add something from my team. Okay, thank you. So I think this is
Yeah, thanks guys. And we have, so the last but not least, so the group number 4. We need a presenter and speaker from group number 4. Guys? Or do you don't have to add something? So, okay, so I just, in case, so somebody from group number 4 want to summarize or to add some details, comments. So we are waiting, we're still waiting for your ideas and for your solutions. But I will slowly summarize the results of our discussion. So, and of this task. So I think the best thing and the best thing with this practice is that you all catch the idea that so we need to collaborate with the team, and as we said in the very beginning, we need to speak a lot with different team members, and I'm happy with so typical analyst ideas and solutions with linkage and acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria are perfect. So from my perspective in this case, so, and it's also good that you have different views and different opinions just on the situation itself, because in case you are new in the project and in case you just see this problem in your regular job and you are not the newbie in the project, so the solution could be the same. So it's just to collaborate and try to write something and to discuss with the development and to add some structure. And the situations and the projects could be different, and you also could have so the most experienced the development team, or you could have, so for example, design team in addition, because so the tools and the linkage and the complexity could be different, but so trying to collaborate and trying to talk and to add some structure is, I think, the best thing in such cases, and also so quite typical for business analysts. And about the summary for our experience today, and not only about the practice, but so for all our ideas and for the whole picture that I tried to show you today, so that requirements and documentation and communication, it's quite so complicated topic, and it's mostly difficult when you have it so in foreign language, and it's important not to be shy and to speak up and to discuss it with the team. So the practice case was for you just to discuss the requirements and just to ask questions. And actually, to ask questions in foreign language is, I think, the challenge. And we always need to learn. And actually, it's not only for business analysts, it's just for our regular life. And the domain knowledge here is the good experience, because you could always learn something new from the domain. And it's so the complexity of the domain doesn't matter in this case, but you always could find some new sides of the domain and not only learn the process and terms, but try to see how it will apply to the regular life's processes. And yes, we should think about good documentation, because it will be useful not only for us, so as business analysts, it will be very helpful to all team members, so for QAs, developers, so designers, and so on. And now we also will have some kind of popcorn session, and let's try to summarize so our impressions about today. And so will be so was it useful for you, and maybe you have some ideas to share. And so let's do it so in the way we're doing it, so in the very beginning, just so raise your hand and express yourself. Just few words, so it will be helpful.
Yeah, hi everyone again. So Natalia, thank you for this meeting. It was useful, but I was thinking all this time that I would like to have more like regular meetings, like so we can gather and discuss maybe some like we could set topics for each meeting and then discuss it in English, like maybe some real cases or examples, or we could practice in like use cases or other schemes or requirements. So I think, well, because in this meeting, I think we had like not so much time for discussion. So yeah, thank you. And if you're ready to set next meetings, I would like to join them.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it was actually, it was complicated to put everything so in one workshop, because there are a lot of interesting topics and there are a lot of ideas how it could be organized. Yes, but your idea is very good, and maybe we could do it. Yes, maybe somebody want to add something? Yes, Ludmila, please.
I want to say thank you for this meeting. I find it really useful because I understand such a sharp need to improve my English again. And unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to discuss with colleagues our process at work. There was only 15 minutes, but I would like to join such meetings again. It's really helpful, and hope someday it will help me in my job. But thank you for notification, not to be shy. It's like to leave the comfort zone. A little bit stressful.
Yes, but I think you all were quite good and communicative, and just don't be shy and express yourself. It's just stupid words from some I don't know, from some Instagram publics with philosophy, but it really works sometimes.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Thank you. Yulia.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
I really thank you for the meeting, because it was my dream for all my life in IT, about 15 years. to speak about analysis in English, and it is the chance today. But what I wanted to improve, what I expected to listen in a meeting, how to write requirements. I remember in my life, it was a project with German business owners, so they didn't speak in English, and our team was speaking Russian, and it was the case I needed to write requirements in English. Well, as an analyst, I wrote them correct, but in English, my boss says a lot of Russism, Russian. So I don't know how to correct, how to write domain in English, how to write use cases, what's the typical terms. Should we use past simple or present simple or perfect? Because I understand we cannot translate this from Russian to English. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, you just need to practice, and yes, there are some hints and tricks that are helpful in regular analyst task, for writing requirements. But I think it's quite a huge topic, and it was not the task for our today's workshop, because just writing and feel it will be not so interesting. It's just from my perspective, because as I said, it's also an experiment for me. With this kind of workshop, but the idea is good. So about writing hints, it's good.
Yes, I think. Sorry, need to apply something.
Yeah,
it could be not workshop, but a presentation. Write this, not write this way. Use this phrases, not use these phrases. Typical cliche. Thank you.
Yeah, expressions. Yes, thank you. Yes, Evgeny.
Natalia, thank you a lot. I really like the idea with using cases. You know, you're not just a passive listener, you need to think and collaborate with people. It's just, I wasn't sure what the actual case was. Like, what was the problem? Was it that we didn't have information in the task tracker, or was it that we didn't have the domain knowledge? So maybe there should be like a point, what we need to achieve at the end of it. And I also agree with Yulia, it could be really cool if we had like a general idea of a feature from, let's say, some stakeholders, or maybe different stakeholders' perspectives. And your task is to rewrite it into, let's say, a user story for the development team. This could be, like, I would really like to try my hand with this.
Okay.
The practical part, thank you for that, because it's difficult to just listen for 2 hours, but it's much easier when you actually do something in the meeting. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, the idea was about the collaboration, but with writing, it's also could be the next step. And Ekaterina.
I guess me. So thank you. Very interesting, especially collaboration in teams. Actually, from one hand, my, let's say, purpose to prepare high quality documentation, actually it's not more about, it's less about writing, but I'm more interested in listening and speaking on a complex, let's say, domain, being a business analyst, to being able to understand the harder things in the requirements and etc. So when there are a lot of terms, special terms, and then you really have a good practice of applying the terms, these cliches, etc. So that's my dream, to speak like a native speaker, you know. And from the other hand, I have an idea to what I've mentioned in the beginning, to organize the, let's say, not boring courses for the colleagues. It's just the idea to make, let's say, to retain in the future the foreign customers and to be prepared by that time, to prepare the team by that time on different levels like QAs, programmers, PMs, and business analysts. And if you can share some ideas how these speaking clubs could be not boring, that would be great. So I'm eager to do that on a regular basis, maybe once per week at least. So, and I think it will be online because most of the employees are working distantly.
Remotely.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yes, so I remembered your question about speaking clubs and so let's say the internal speaking clubs. I think so the idea is very good, and I think the first step will be to collect the interesting topics. So and just summarize some topics that could be interesting, for example, for your project. So because I'm sure that you have special domain. And maybe something about the domain knowledge. So maybe some news, maybe some updates, or just the technologies. And the good practice here is to prepare the list of interesting topics. For example, so you need to plan the meeting, I don't know, for example, every Tuesday, for example. And in this meeting, we will discuss the following topics. And for example, you could find some number of articles about this topic, and just it will be not boring because you will need to investigate some new information, and also every colleague could select, for example, the most interesting part for him or her and just speak about it and share their ideas. But you need to find the organizer. So in case you have enthusiasm for this, it could be you. But for such kind of clubs or such kind of meetings, you always need some organizer or facilitator. So somebody who will prepare the articles, some who could send the meetings and so on, to do the questionnaires. And about the level, so in the very beginning, so you said that there are different levels, and the most of the colleagues are beginners.
Yes, we are planning to collect, let's say, to make this form, to get the information regarding the interest, about the levels, but I guess that most of them are from A2 to B1, let's say, mix, maybe even A1.
And then I think some sources, as for example news from internet, I don't know, just select the good source, I don't know, so BBC, for example, or New York Times, something like this. It depends on the domain of your company or of your project. So what kind of a domain do you have?
Actually, we are more, let's say, have expertise in the mobile development mainly, and the different domain, e-commerce and fintech, so that might be different.
No, so you have multiple choice in this case, because there are a lot of interesting articles, always a lot of news about some e-commerce sphere, for example, about Amazon or about Twitter and so on. So, and just select maybe not very complicated texts, but you need to put them, so to collect the information. So just to put, I don't know, 3 topics, so 3 links, so for the discussion. And then you as organizer could facilitate this meeting, and just also to impress colleagues, not to be shy and to speak up. And then I think it will be quite not so boring and useful.
Okay, thank you. And for example, to train reading and listening while speaking, And reading, it could be a task, for example, homework task, yeah?
Yes, yes. So, and also in case you will prepare the articles, you could send them, for example, so 3 or 2, or I don't know, so a couple of days before the meeting, and it will be a task for reading. And then you will discuss it in the meeting. It could be such format, for example.
Okay, thank you very much. Cool.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome. Maybe some questions, or maybe somebody wants to say something.
Yeah, we have a discussion in the chat. What is the group that you are talking about in Telegram, where you put the description of the case?
Yes, we will share the link to this group. It was, I think, automatic group, so for the community of our workshop. So we will share the link.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, then I want to say thank you to everybody, because it was great experience for me also as speaker, and as it was good practice in English, and hope it will be useful. And now in the end, so I think I will switch to Russian. Sorry for this, but we will need to share some news about our progress in next way. Да, коллеги, спасибо вам огромное еще раз. Мы хотим, на самом деле, поделиться некоторыми новостями по поводу как раз английского. И мы придумали небольшой интенсив, который начнется с конца февраля. И, собственно, он будет посвящен как раз больше требованиям на английском языке. Будет всего 5 занятий. И мы хотим именно, наверное, уделить внимание грамматике, написанию и каким-то моментам, которые именно связаны с внутренней кухней аналитической. Наверное, я передам слово Ане, чтобы она вам рассказала про детали чуть-чуть и про организационные вопросы.
Да, мы уже не первый год, не побоюсь этого слова, ведем занятия. Мы запускаем в этот раз первый пилотный проект по английскому. У меня есть даже хорошие новости. К нам присоединится, помимо Натальи, у нас основной ведущий будет Наталья, у нас еще будет преподаватель по английскому. О нем потом чуть-чуть позже расскажу, но он прекрасен. И, конечно же, мы больше делаем акцент на практику, как всегда. Если интересно, присоединяйтесь. Кроме того, всем участникам нашего интенсива мы пришлем отдельно, нашего воркшопа, сейчас мы пришлем отдельно скидку на наш интенсив. Планируем проводить с 22 февраля по средам 2 часа. То время, которое, в общем-то, хватает для того, чтобы поговорить и не устать, чтобы продолжить. Поэтому всю информацию мы обязательно вам пришлем после нашего воркшопа. Большая просьба, дайте нам, пожалуйста, обратную связь. Мы тоже пришлем вам ссылку по обратной связи. Хочу поблагодарить отдельно Наташу за твой труд. Это было прекрасно. Мой слух насладился сегодня. Ну, наверное, основное все, что хотелось сказать. Поэтому будем рады видеть вас на нашей первой пилотной группе. Приходите, делитесь информацией. Это будет интересно и полезно.
Да, спасибо, Аня. Я рада, что мы поэкспериментировали и вообще смогли это организовать. Да, мы добавили ссылку на нашу группу в Телеграме в чат, если, да, вот Людмила спрашивала. Так что не стесняйтесь, если вдруг у кого-то еще есть вопросы, пишите, пожалуйста, мы будем на них обязательно отвечать.
Да, спасибо большое. Надеюсь, всем было полезно. И до новых встреч. У нас также будут и другие воркшопы и вебинары. На этот год очень много запланировано. Они будут у нас проходить с различными коллаборациями. Воркшопы будут открыты, вебинары тоже будут открыты, поэтому можете также подписываться на наш канал Nextway. Настя, кинь, пожалуйста, тоже ссылку. Пишут, что ссылка устарела на группу. Давайте мы сейчас, пока еще не убежали, все кинем нужные ссылки.
Да, спасибо большое. Просто пытаюсь перейти по ссылке. Вот она...
Это на рабочая. Попробуйте еще раз, потому что это актуальная ссылка, которую мы вот только что из Телеграма.
Открыла. Спасибо большое за помощь.
И пришлю вам еще на наш канал. Если вдруг вы не подписаны, подписывайтесь. У нас там и про интеграцию, и не только, и про проектирование, и много всего в этом году у нас интересного. Мы как очнулись в этом году после мандариновой комы, так и начали работать. Вот, так что спасибо вам большое, что вы досидели до конца, что вы активно поучаствовали. Ну и предлагаю на этом закончить. До новых встреч.
Да, спасибо, коллеги. Всем хорошего вечера.
Спасибо, до свидания.